What even is a ChatGPT plugin? What can they do and how do they work? Just sit back, relax, and plug into this video because I'm going to explain everything you need to know. And stick around until later when I show you the best plugins to use. There's a lot to say about plugins and how they work with ChatGPT, but if I went into full detail, the retention graph for this video would probably be negative. So basically, plugins for ChatGPT are like extensions for Chrome. Chrome extensions can help you automate certain functions in your browser, modify existing behaviors, and improve your software's convenience. And yep, that's exactly what plugins do. Because even though ChatGPT knows everything and might take over the world one day, currently it can't actually do much on its own besides write stuff. So people created plugins to expand its capabilities and start to actually do things for you like an AI servant. ChatGPT plugins, depending on the function they're designed for, will be able to assist you with a variety of tasks like language translation, analysis, tax preparation, and even scheduling. Users will be able to access real-time information such as sports, stocks, news, as well as book flights and order food and groceries. For example, you could ask it to find Italian restaurant reservations in New York at 6 p.m., and with an extension, it will literally do that for you. And whenever you type a prompt, ChatGPT uses its vast training knowledge to decide if it should use one of the installed plugins to respond. Like if you ask it to book a flight and it has the Milan plugin, it knows that the plugin can help find material for its response. We'll talk about some more cool plugins later. To start off, developers who create plugins make them with a manifest file that explains what the plugin can do and how to use it. Of course, a file is in computer language. Ones and zeros, I think, but I'm not a computer. The plugin is published to the plugin store, where people like you can download it. Don't take my word for it, but as long as you get accepted after joining a waitlist, pretty much anybody can make a plugin. I'm sure there is some moderation though, otherwise ChatGPT would be doing some pretty sketchy stuff. And once again, after you give ChatGPT a prompt, it decides if it can help you on its own, and if not, reaches for a relevant plugin that might be helpful in answering your question. There are, however, some limitations. As of right now, there is a constraint on the amount of plugins you can have. Currently, there's a limit of 3 plugins, which forces you to choose them for specific use. This limit is probably the only thing stopping ChatGPT from becoming a super-powered AI assistant. Just imagine what it could do with every single plugin installed. Another downside is that there isn't really a way to test plugins privately. They're all publicly available on the store, so you can't really experiment without publishing a plugin first. And not to mention the biggest limitation of all, the fact that you can't use them without ChatGPT Plus, which costs $20 a month. I'm starting to understand why Elon is such a critic of this company. $20 a month is a hefty subscription, even for billionaires. Currently, there are over 735 verified plugins, and some of them are time savers while others are just pointless. But before I showcase the best plugins to use, let's go over how to install them. If it were difficult, there would probably be a plugin to help you install plugins, but there aren't very many steps. Not enough to make a whole flight of stairs, more like the steps on your front porch. To start off, you'll need to be using GPT-4, and there should be an option for that at the top of your screen. Once again, this won't be available if you're not subscribed to ChatGPT Plus, but with some of the plugins I'll be showing you, it's almost worth it. Just click on your username in the bottom left and click Settings. Choose the tab called Beta Features and toggle the plugins feature on. Just like that, your ChatGPT is ready to utilize some crazy powerful features. After this, you should see a drop-down option near the top that says No Plugins Enabled, and by clicking on that, you'll see a direct link to the plugin store. Here will be all the plugins currently available to help you with pretty much anything. And all you have to do is click on the install button and make sure it's enabled before trying to use it, and you can see which plugins are active with the drop down at the top of the screen. It is worthy to mention though, most plugins are powered by third-party applications that OpenAI doesn't have control over. They tell you to be sure you trust the plugin before installation, and that doesn't mean you have to know the developer personally, but at least look at the reviews and read the privacy policy. You know, the thing that nobody ever reads? May want to look into that before you trust some random code with your precious AI assistant. But with so many options, what plugin should you start with? Well, have you ever tried to ask ChatGPT a question and it hit you with this? It's a little annoying that it can't help you with newer topics, but there's a plugin for that. The official browsing plugin was made to compensate for ChatGPT's 2021 knowledge cutoff. It allows it to obtain new information from web pages on the internet, In many ways, it's similar to how you and I would use Google to learn more about something, but now you can make an AI Google search it for you. You don't even need to tell ChatGPT to use the browsing plugin. Just enable it and the chatbot will automatically search for outside information when necessary. Pretty useful, huh? Another super helpful plugin that you can actually use is called VoxScript. Maybe you're supposed to watch a really long YouTube video but don't have all that time and can't understand it at 2 times speed. VoxScript can help assist with this by summarizing hours-long content that would normally put you to sleep. It doesn't stop there. Once VoxScript generates a summary, you can ask follow-up questions as well. VoxScript is dependent on YouTube's transcript feature though, which may not be available for all videos. Having said that, most English language content on the platform has auto-generated captions, so you should be fine. The AI can figure it out. Maybe you're the person that likes to travel but doesn't like to plan. Then you could try these 2 plugins, Expedia and Kayak. Both plugins are great options for planning out your next trip and finding the perfect hotel to stay in, if that's the kind of thing you trust a robot with. You could ask it specifically, what's the best 3-star hotel in Midtown Los Angeles between August 18th and 21st, and it'll find the best reservations for you. Currently, it can't actually book it for you, but that's a little too much trust anyways. This ChatGPT guy isn't even 1 year old. Alternatively, you can also just ask what the best activities are and it'll find some good tourist attractions, museums, and whatnot. Because why do that research yourself? And what if you like to cook but don't know how? Well, you should probably go back to watching MasterChef, but there is a pretty cool plugin for any uninspired bakers out there. It's called Instacart. With this ChatGPT plugin, you won't need to meal plan anymore. After telling it the ingredients you have, it can give you specific recipes to so many different meals. You might have to wait a few years before AI can cook it for you though. It can also generate a shopping list for you on Instacart to easily buy any ingredients you don't have. And if that still sounds like too much work, then make some mac and cheese, I don't care. And if you're too lazy to use a microwave, use the OpenTable plugin to make great restaurant reservations. All you have to do is tell it what kind of restaurant you want to eat at. It's probably best to also tell it when and where, otherwise it might find some reservations across the country. It will give you a few options that fit the criteria, and you're just a click away from making that perfect reservation for a perfect meal. Now, if only there was a plugin that could drive you there. Well, there isn't, but if plugins keep getting more popular, Uber might just swoop in and make that happen. What if you're just genuinely bad at writing ChatGPT prompts? Well then, I find that hilarious because it literally does exactly what you tell it to do. Just kidding, even ChatGPT is a picky eater sometimes, and this plugin will help you write prompts in such a detailed, fluent way that the AI couldn't possibly misunderstand you. It's called Prompt Perfect. This plugin will help you write effective and well-structured prompts. All you gotta do is start your prompt with the word perfect, and then the Prompt Perfect plugin will replace your prompt with an improved and more detailed version to get the best response. Take a look at this example. If you can't tell, it is getting easier and easier to use ChatGPT. Pretty soon it will be able to read your mind. And while you may not be good at writing, ChatGPT sure is, except for tasks that require math, riddles, or logic reasoning in general because it doesn't have a brain. Yet. You might see that feature with GPT-5 though. But whether you need help with math homework or you're an engineering major that doesn't know anything about engineering, the Wolfram plugin is here to save the day. When using this plugin, ChatGPT is able to solve complex math problems, physics equations, and even draw graphs within the ChatGPT interface. I could have used that tool back in AP statistics class. I mean, I don't condone cheating, but it's pretty good at math with the Wolfram plugin. The next plugin is a bit of a unique one. Not unique in a practical way, just generally interesting. It's called Scene Explain. With this plugin, you can give ChatGPT an image URL and it'll give you a detailed description of the image. And somehow, it is able to do so pretty accurately as if it had eyes. Weird how AI keeps getting more and more human-like. I'm sure it won't be a problem. It can describe complex scenes with several different objects and people and is right most of the time. So if you're just really tired of describing images yourself, this is the perfect plugin for you. But the best plugin of all would be one that tells you what video to watch next. It would probably say to click on this one right here because it's absolutely mind-blowing.